Squaddies! Hello. Say hi if you're there or hashtag replay. It is so good to be back. I mean, do you even recognise me with my tan? I have the slightest tan. I don't normally tan, so I'm rather excited about it. Today has been so funny. So this morning we did cardio and it was packed. There were 35ers live at 6:30 and the class was buzzing. It was just, all those classes where just random things happen. Like there's a mosquito in the room and he would not leave me alone. And I wouldn't normally mind. But I've just come back from holiday for my mum's 60th. Lynn the legend, she had a great time. She had a blast. And it wouldn't leave me alone and I got bitten out there. Like Will was worse than me. Will got one of those horrible bites, where your whole calf looks like it's going to explode. Mine were just around my ankles and I feel like it's a really annoying place for bites to be, don't you? Anyway, I wouldn't normally mind, but that mosquito needed to go. And Anna put a comment on the group saying how funny the class was. And then there was a mosquito in there who wasn't paying his subscription, so Lorna was chasing him around the room. Anyway, just made me laugh, just made me giggle. And then we also did some of the new Yogascape. So Yogascape is our trademark brand. We've got other instructors teaching it around the world. It's so cool. It's just a beautiful class, yoga to music, but it's choreographed to the music. It's not just in the background. Like the music plays a really key part in the class. So we did some of the new one. This is like my tweaking stage. So it's really important for me to get feedback from you guys, from Squaddies. So I know how you feel about it, and then I know what we can change before it becomes like an official release. So your opinions are really, really important to me. So if you've not tried it, definitely hop onto the 6 p.m. tonight, the live replay. So the live replays are the replays of the lives in the morning. You get to experience them live again. I'm not putting it on demand until like that release is official. So Yogascape's done in releases. So I've been choreographing this release. So when we've done it and we're happy with this release, then it will go on demand. So it's not like cardio, which is on demand and also be going live, because that's not a release, if you get what I mean. Does that make sense? Let me know. Anyway, it's so good to be back. I am buzzing. I've got loads of energy to give to you, as you can probably tell. So much energy. I'm really, really buzzing to be back. I love going away on holiday. I love traveling. It's a big thing for me. I'm one of these people, I don't know about you, you can let me know. I'm one of these people who I don't really spend anything like on myself clothes wise. I'm not really into designer stuff. I don't really get it. I'm not extravagant, but I really love going abroad. I love traveling. I just love making memories, creating experiences. That's me all over. That's what I like to do. So I love to go away. But I equally really love then to get back into routine, because I'm a creature of habit. So I just get really buzzing about coming back and seeing you guys and be with my Squaddies. I miss you all. Did you miss me? You're probably like, no, I'm glad we had a break. Anyway, I'm back. No more breaks. So I've got two things to let you know about before we do the Q&A. The first thing that I need to let you know about is the step challenge has started. We are on our way to Tortuga, and have you worked out the riddle yet? The riddle gives you bonus steps. So we're awarding 1,000 bonus steps to everybody who attends that particular class, said class, live or on live replay, not on demand, live or live replay. If you work out the riddle, you've got to get your booty to that class and encourage your teammates to get there. If you can't make it, you got to encourage your teammates to get there. You're working together as a team. If anyone wants to hop onto that, just let me know and I can add you to a team. So there's 5 teams. My team is Lady Lorna of the High Seas, Shipshape Plankers. I had to say that very carefully then, just in case it sounded like I was swearing. I wasn't. So that's that notice. The second notice, I'm thinking of doing 1,000 steps before 6 o'clock. Do you remember how we did that little series where we did it for a week? And I was thinking about doing it in a Morgos and doing it on Facebook, so you can tell your friends, tell your family, everyone can get involved, and I'll just go live on Facebook at 6 o'clock, which I think will be 8 o'clock Greek time. So I'll be in Greece on the retreat, running the Morgos retreat, which I'm really excited about. So I was thinking of doing that. Let me know in the comments if you think that's a good idea, and if it is, I'll do it. It's time for the Q&A. So We have 28 questions. So in order to get through the questions, some of them I'm going to need to be a little bit brief and some of them I will expand on. So bear with, gang. I'm going to dive straight in. So I'll start off with, there's some like real quick ones like barbells, equipment stuff, exercise duration, and then some of them are going to be a little bit longer. I've tried to group them. So question number 1, here we go. What's a decent barbell set to buy? I've linked to Amazon, but there seems to be a difference in price and reviews vary, mentioning some weight spinning on the bar. Head to the equipment guide on the members home area, and that's one that we recommend. It's done really well on Amazon. It's a really, really good barbell. So I would go for that one or something very, very similar. So just head to equipment guide and click on that one. Next question. I've been enjoying the shorter sessions, 20 minutes-ish, and wondered, should we be completing a certain number of time to exercise each day to see weight loss? No. If weight loss is your goal, the thing that you need to do is make sure that you're in a calorie deficit. So a calorie is a unit of energy. That's all it is. And it's how, the body uses energy to keep us alive, to help us digest, to help us move around, exercise, etc. You need to be in a calorie deficit. So calories out are greater than calories in. And that doesn't mean that, we need to do more and more and more and more exercise to burn more calories. It doesn't quite work like that. Does to an extent, but you'll end up being a hamster on a wheel and burning yourself out. We exercise to feel energized, to shape our body for our bone density, to feel good, for those feel good endorphins, to have energy. Anyway, you will need to do this with your food. So if you're wanting to see weight loss, you will need to think about getting some consistency with your diet and then thinking about your portion sizes. And remember, it's not an overnight fix. This is something that needs to be tweaked over time. So getting some consistency. So like same breakfast, really similar lunches, really similar dinner, so you actually know where you are in your week. The odd treat here or there, of course, but that doesn't mean that you do, you're really consistent Monday to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday goes out the window, because of course, that's just not going to work. It might mean that you give yourself the one thing, the one treat or whatever, and you spread that out throughout your week, however you want to do it. We do the 70-30 rule. But what I would say is it's just going to come in tweaking your portion sizes a little bit. Just adjust it slightly and then monitor it. So no, you don't need to be completing a certain number of exercises to see weight loss. The recommendations are 150 minutes per week of moderate exercise or 75 minutes of vigorous or somewhere in between. So your vigorous would be like HIIT, combat, aerobics, potentially stronger depending on what weights you use, spinning, running, that kind of thing. The more moderate side of things would be like your Pilates, your power walking, you can even include gardening in with that kind of thing. So that's a bit of a guide. And how you break that up depends on your time and your preferences. So the 20 minutes, if you did 20 minutes per day, if you did Monday to Friday, 6:30 a.m.s every day, you'd be set. Or if you choose to do the 9:30s or you follow them on live replay, you'll be set, basically. I love exercising, particularly going out for hikes, and then I'm okay doing indoor strength workouts. However, sometimes I can't go outdoors. I turn to cardio workouts indoors, which I find uplifting and fun and give me the boost that I need. I know I have to do strength, but that doesn't give me the same boost mood-wise. What's the minimum time needed for strength, and is it okay to do it after a fun cardio session? Yeah, of course, it's fine to do it after a fun cardio session, if that's what you want to do, however you prefer it. You need to be doing minimum 2 strength classes a week, absolute minimum. I'm not going to lie to you, it's vital. And I think if you don't enjoy it as much, you need to be thinking about, okay, well, why do I need to do it? Be thinking about the why. So I need to do it for my bone density. I need to do it because I want to shape my body. I like to see the tone in my body. And thinking about how you feel once you've done it. Like, I don't know about you, but once I've finished a stronger class, there's no other class where I feel like that amazing pump in my arms, or, you look in the mirror and you're like, oh, do you love bicep? You got a little bicep muscle and a tricep muscle. Like, if you want that nice shape and body tone, you need to be doing it. And you need to be doing it anyway. No one wants to be the little old lady who struggles to get herself up off the floor or get out of a chair or struggles to go up the stairs. It's absolutely essential. And it's also linked to your metabolism. Your lean muscle mass is linked to your metabolism. So it's very, very important, particularly as women, as we progress through perimenopause and we become postmenopausal, we have exponential muscle mass loss if we don't do any strength. It's absolute minimum twice a week. Okay, next. Not every day, but frequently after eating, I'm experiencing loose stools. Taking Imodium to help and also passing lots of wind after meals. I'm menopausal. I take probiotics daily. Is it psyllium husks? I don't know how to pronounce that. 2 teaspoons each morning, and I'm eating lots of veggies. Okay, I would absolutely be making a food diary here. I'd be writing down everything that I'd eaten, how you feel after it, like immediately, and how you feel the next day and potentially the next day as well, to see if you can build up any sort of pattern, to see what your body, how your body feels. That's really, really important. You need to build that data upon you. When we go through the menopause, quite often our body, certain foods don't agree with our body, like how they used to. Okay, I said that really weirdly. Our body doesn't always react in the same way to foods that we have been used to. When we get a decline in estrogen, which is what happens during the menopause, estrogen is a hormone, a female hormone. When we get this decline in estrogen, it can have really, really weird effects on the body. And one of them is it can actually slow the movement of food down through the digestive tract. So this food is actually moving through the digestive tract slower. Therefore, it can be like fermenting, like a little bit higher up if you like. So that can cause some real bad problems with digestion. And it can also mean that we're not digesting our food as we used to. So that can be one thing. Or you might just not be reacting in the same way. There might be other things going on, like when we go through the menopause, our hormones are going up and down like crazy. We might not be sleeping as well. We might be feeling more stressed, and that can all have an effect on our digestion. And also how you feel can have an effect on your digestion. If you're feeling anxiety or if you're feeling overwhelmed, that can play a real part with your digestion. So your digestion is linked to your mood and how you feel through the vagus nerve. So you'll know just from like past experience, if you've been feeling nervous about something, you get that feeling in your tummy, and vice versa. If your digestion feels rubbish and you feels really sluggish, immediately you feel a bit rubbish as well. So I'd absolutely do that. And also the word that I can't pronounce, psyllium husks, they can actually sometimes cause a bit of upset with your stomach, depending. And vegetables as well, there's a lot of fiber in there. Maybe, it's the case of too much fiber. But I'd be writing like how you feel after your meals and how you feel the next day. Try and get some data on yourself. Also, another thing to be thinking about is, are you chewing properly? Are you sitting down and actually chewing your food and letting your digestive enzymes work in the mouth? How are you feeling yourself? Are you managing your stress? Are you managing your sleep very well? So these are all little things to be wary of. And are you hydrating yourself enough? Just doing the basics and seeing how you feel. How much caffeine are you having, for example? I would be looking at all of those things and ask yourself all those questions. How can I reduce bloating? I'm eating well, but I still feel really bloated. Okay, this is quite linked to the one above. So digestive issues. Bloating, again, I would keep track of the things that you're eating. What is making you feel bloated? Can you try and work it out? Can you try and pinpoint it? You're going to need to get a diary, write down what you're having and how you're feeling the next day. You could also do a FODMAP diet. I would actually talk to your GP first before trying anything like that, though. You could make sure that when you're eating, it's not in front of a screen. You're actually chewing your food properly. You're drinking enough water. Have you changed anything in your diet recently as well? That might be something to have a little look at. Making sure that you're having plenty of water, lots and lots of water, and just see if you can build up some data. Like, is it a certain time of the month? Is it after a particular meal? Is it first thing in the morning, or is it always in the evening? Like, when's this happening? Any ideas about how to help reflux apart from avoiding certain acidic foods? Are you eating it? Again, it is a case of like, it's so individual. So working out when this happens for you. Is it always in the evening? Have you been having a lot of caffeine? Have you been having a lot of alcohol? Have you been having a lot of sugary or maybe non-sugary fizzy drinks? What have you been eating recently, or does it happen on certain days? So I tend to get, this is me speaking personally, I get acid reflux if I've been having a lot of, I have 7-Up free. I like to have 7-Up free, as in the diet 7-Up. And if I've had too much, like I've kind of learned how much I can tolerate. If I've had too much, it won't hit me straight away. But when I lie down in bed at night, this is when it will happen. So it's about, okay, have I smashed the 7-Ups? What have I been having a lot of that my body is not that happy with right now? And can you try and remove something? Like, can you maybe just not have, for example, with me, fizzy drinks? If I just don't have them for a week, does it happen? Because that would be something interesting to see if that happens. But reflux can happen for so many different reasons. It can happen if you're not digesting your food properly. You know, are you taking the time to eat? Are you managing your stress? Stress can be another factor. Are you doing, regular yoga? Could you try doing yoga a couple of nights a week, or some meditation, or the pre-bedtime yoga before you go to bed? Could you get some data in your diary? Try and work out what's going on here. Are you eating a meal late at night so your body isn't able to fully digest before you lie down? Maybe you could even try going for a light walk after you finished your dinner. So finish your dinner and then just a really light, gentle walk to help your body digest. Other things that can cause it though is I know people who've had like hernias, and that can cause reflux because it's literally like pushing on the stomach. So it can be for so many different reasons. I'd build up the data, try and work out what it might be, and then go and see your GP if it's still going on. Chewing gum, yes or no? Using sugar-free as a stop to car sweets. But I once heard chewing gum can make you hungrier. Yeah, I heard this as well. And I think it's the fact that because you're chewing, it's like setting off your digestive enzymes and your body thinks that it's going to be eating something. So your body's literally like preparing for the food, ready to land in your stomach, that never actually comes. So yes, I have heard that. And also if you have too much chewing gum, it can also be a laxative, but not in a very nice way. We don't really like to do that. So see how it works for you. I personally don't really chew gum, and I have found that it does make me feel a bit hungry sometimes. But why not take some grapes in the car with you? So you've got something to, you can kind of chew grapes to suck on in the car. Just then you've got a little sweet hit as well, but being healthy. Just food for thought, literally. Now, this next section is kind of like a bit more of a physio section, so I can only answer these to the best of my ability with the knowledge that I have and also how I can answer them. I have some lower back twinges, usually in the evening, especially if I've been standing for a long time. I'm being mindful with weights and I've been stretching. Is there anything that you can suggest? I would also be thinking about how you're holding yourself when you're standing. Have you ever got anyone to take a picture of you while you're standing there? Obviously, you're going to need to just stand as you normally would. You can't just change the way that you're standing while the picture's being taken. But how are you actually standing? And could you move around? Can you have some little movement breaks in your day? It's good that you've been stretching, you've been really mindful with the weights as well. Another thing that I would suggest is doing regular Pilates, so really building up your core strength so that you are really supporting your back when you're standing. So are you able to have some movement breaks? Are you doing regular Pilates minimum twice a week, I would say, to build your core strength? And get someone to take that photo of you. Maybe have a look at the shoes that you're wearing as well. Are they giving you enough support? And are you having enough breaks? So it's great that you'll be mindful with your weights and your stretching, but does your body need a rest day? That could be something else to think about as well. Are you having enough rest in your day? I've been getting some pain in my lower back, just the right of my spine. I don't think I've done any one thing particular to cause the pain, but I've noticed it when I do anything that puts strain or load through my back, e.g. deadlifts. Okay, so I would again be thinking about my posture. Have you gone on the how-to area, looked and gone through the moves, maybe take a video of yourself or do it in front of the mirror so you know you're doing the correct technique. Secondly, are you lifting too heavy? Have you thought about doing the right technique and lowering the weights and seeing how that feels? Thirdly, do you need a rest day? Is your body just fatigued and tired and without meaning to, you're just not holding yourself properly when you're doing it? And are you making sure that you're doing regular core strength work? Again, Pilates, minimum twice a week. And are you doing anything to help release your back? It could be maybe even something like spinal, like have you got slight scoliosis, for example, and then when you're doing anything like that, it's just aggravating it. I'm only saying that from experience. I have slight scoliosis, so that is where there's basically like a bit of a twist in your spine, and I, if anywhere, will feel it just to the right of my spine too, and that's my QL. So I'm very mindful of that, and make sure, of course, I'm doing regular Pilates through teaching, getting adequate rest, stretching, etc., and just being very mindful when I'm holding weights and things. But if it does carry on with any of these things, please do go and see a physio. I've had some shoulder pain and knee pain recently. I've rested it more, so it's feeling a lot better. Would you recommend not doing high impact with these issues? Could this be the cause? No, it depends. It depends, not necessarily. High impact, to an extent, is really good for your bones. Like creating that impact, it actually builds strength in your bone density. So it can be a really, really good thing. Anything overdone can negatively impact your bones. So one thing that comes straight to my mind is, people who do a lot of road running, you're running, it's high impact on concrete on a really, really hard surface. If you overdo that, it's exponentially, not exponentially, law of diminishing returns is what I meant to say. So it's beneficial up to a point, and then after a certain point, it's going to be a disbenefit. So it depends on how much you're doing. What I would be thinking is, okay, if you're getting knee pain, I'd be thinking about strengthening the muscles around the knee joint. So are you doing enough stronger? Are you doing things like booty band? So what are you doing to help alleviate some of that? And if you're not, then maybe incorporating some of that into your week as well. That would be a really good idea. Ooh. I believe there might be somebody at the door. Let me give it a second. I'll give it a second. And if the dog keeps warning me, I'll come back for part 2. Doggies, do I need to come to the door? We'll see. Next question. In yoga, how can I go from a downward dog through plank without going on my wrists? You could go from, so if you're already in a downward dog, you're already on the wrists. You could lower your knees down. So from a downward dog, just imagine that your hips are in the air. So you've got your body in like this triangular V position. Your hips are in the air. Then you could lower your knees down and you come onto your forearms. That could be a way to do it, potentially. That would probably be the best way to do it. So then you won't be going on your wrists. So you could just carefully lower your knees down and then transition onto your forearms into the plank. I find stretching really hard due to my spinal stenosis. In fact, the hardest class for me is your stretching and or relaxing classes, as most of the poses are impossible. I'm benefiting from all the strength and cardio and Pilates, but what is the minimum strength? Hold on, that's cut half the question off. Let me see if I can get the other part of the question. Why has that cut the question off? I hope this is useful, by the way. Are you enjoying it? Here we go. Let me get the question. All questions. Here we go. I'm benefiting. What's the minimum stretch I need to do? Okay, the minimum stretch. there's no like real minimum. I'd be doing some kind of stretch or holistic, and you can include Pilates in that. There's a lot of mobility work that goes into Pilates, so I'd be thinking more about mobilization here. I would say you need to be doing it 2 to 3 times a week. And you could do more Pilates. So you don't have to do stretch like as such. It's quite an old school way of thinking, that you need to be doing, static stretches, holding static stretches. It's been proven by more recent research, it's actually more beneficial to do more like mobility and dynamic movement. So things like our yoga scape, yoga, Pilates. So if you're fine with Pilates and you enjoy that, I'd be doing that 2 to 3 times a week instead of focusing on a stretch class, if you get what I mean. It depends what feels good for you, but the reason you want to be making sure you do enough of that and incorporating it is because when you're doing strength and cardio classes, you can be building quite a lot of tension in your muscles and your, everything else. Your ligaments. I said that really weirdly then. Ligaments. You build up a lot of tension, and we want to make sure that we're staying supple and we can actually, bend down and tie our shoelaces, or we drop something on the floor, we can actually pick it up without feeling like we're going to pull something. So it's really important. So that's what I would say for that one. I find it quite hard to jump. I can see how it worked my body more and raise my heart rate, but can I just step those bits when they're in the routines? Yeah, sure. High impact or low impact, it is totally up to you. Of course you can, no problem. I've noticed some workouts, especially crunches and similar stuff, make me feel really sick. How can I prevent this? That is so interesting. It could be for a number of reasons. So it could be due to the fact that when we're doing a workout, it could be like the direction of where the blood has gone, so away from the digestive organs to the muscles and the surface of the skin, which can make you feel a bit nauseous. It can be the direction of, or the positioning of your neck and your head. So have you thought about when you're doing crunches where you're looking? Are you really, really tucking your chin in and looking towards your thighs? Sometimes if you're looking up towards the ceiling, it can also make you feel like that motion sickness. When was the last time you ate? How intensely are you working? These are all questions to be asking yourself. So if you've just eaten recently or you've had a big meal not that long ago, that could make you feel a bit nauseous doing these movements if your body hasn't had time to fully digest. Equally, if you've just done a hard workout and now you're doing some intense crunches and you've not eaten for a while, that can make you feel really nauseous. So thinking about your meal timing, and if it is a really intense workout or you're doing some intense crunches, can you just drop the intensity or have a little mini break and then get back in? So that's what I would say for that one. Next section. Okay, I hope this is helpful, like grouping them, by the way. This is more of like an exercise and health section. Is there any type of exercise you'd suggest to help boost the immune system and aid recovery after illness? I would just say, ease yourself back in. There doesn't need to be like an exact workout, and it depends on what the illness was and how ill you've been and what your preferences are really. But I would just say ease yourself in. I would go to the bolt-on area, and I would be having a look at a few things on there and maybe starting off with some things that are more low to moderate intensity, like some of the yogas or some of the stretches or some of the power walking or the Pilates. That's where I would start. I wouldn't be like, right, I'm not being very well, let's do a short cardio class. So I would be easing myself back in. And your body, if you're still recovering, your body's going to be using all that extra energy just to make sure that you are 100% recovered. So ease yourself back in terms of the intensity of the workout, and just see how you feel. Like, you might be feeling great and the next day you might be ready to do cardio, whatever. But I would do that. The intensity, the effort that you put in, I'd also be thinking about that, and the duration of the workout. So I wouldn't say, if you've been ill, then go and dive straight into like a 45-minute workout or even some of the half hours. I would just go to the bolt-on area, do a workout in there, review how I felt, and then the next day I know which direction to go in. What exercise do you suggest for the head cold? I've been unable to do cardio. Whatever you want to do, really. When you've got a head cold, whenever you're ill, the priority is making sure that you get better. So making sure that you're getting enough sleep, because this is where our body literally repairs itself. Your body repairs its brain and the body when you're in bed. And so make sure you get enough sleep, making sure that you're staying hydrated. You really, really need to focus on getting the water in, and making sure that you're fueling your body so your body has the adequate energy and nutrients to recover sufficiently. Get some zinc in there, get some vitamin C in there. And I would say, again, you probably want to start off on the lower intensity side. And if you've got a head cold, I guess anything upside down, like if you're doing yoga and you're going upside down, it might not feel that great. You could do, but it might not feel great. So maybe things like the power walking, maybe Pilates, maybe some stretch, maybe some yoga if you want to, just something really light. And I think if you've got a bit of a cold, maybe if you really want to do a strength class, just going like a little bit lighter, ease yourself back in. That's what I would say. If my muscles are still feeling sore or tight after a rest day, should I do a workout or have another rest day instead? My first stronger class this week and 2 days after the stairs are still hard work on the legs. Okay, what I would say is your body, chances are if it's 2 days after, like DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, can be 24 to 48 hours later. And quite often, if it's something that you're quite new to, then it can be, it can last a little bit longer as well. Your muscles are still repairing. So what I would say is you don't want to be diving straight into another stronger class until you feel less sore or tight. I would say, why not help yourself? Why not do a yoga escape or a Pilates to help release them? That's absolutely what I would do. That mobility, or even something like an aerobics or even a Zumba or a power walking would help to mobilize the body. So I would say if it's the day after you did a stronger, you had a rest day, the next day, and you're still feeling a little bit tight, a little bit sore, why not just get yourself on like a yoga or just a bit of a release for the body, or a bit of power walking, just mobilize the body, get that blood flow going around the muscles to help them repair better. What can I do to engage physically that's not too demanding whilst I'm recovering and to boost my low mood? Any of those things I said. So, for example, any exercise, even just getting out in nature and getting out on a walk can just really, really help boost you. I'm going on the on-demand section now, so I can literally just list what would be really good. Ooh, this is not the best lighting, is it? My nose looks so red. Do you know one thing I didn't even do? I didn't even check the I didn't even check if you can hear me. Can you hear me? I didn't even check. Oh, Harriet, I've just seen all of these. I've just seen all of these. The comments have only just come up. This is so funny. Harriet, miss you. I miss you as well. Nicola. And Mum's just put, it's not me. Oh yeah, Mum, you did say that you were going to come round in a bit, didn't you, for Harvey? I can't believe I've missed all these comments. I'm absolutely devastated now. Anyway, what I was actually doing is getting you a list of workouts to boost your mood. What do you guys think? What would boost your mood? I personally think something that is a bit less intense that would boost your mood would be, I could just go on the short workouts area now, and this is probably what I would do actually. I'd suggest go on the short workouts area or the bolt-on area. The bolt-on area is where they're all around about 10 minutes or less-ish. The shorter workouts are anything 20 minutes-ish. So you could do yoga, full body and mind tension release. You could do Pilates, stretch and strengthen. I'm literally just scrolling down here. Yoga escape. You could do a combat. Maybe that's actually quite intense. Maybe don't do a combat. Ours tend to be a little bit crazy. Booty band. You could do a booty band with or without the band. You could do a step class with or without the step. You could do a sculpt. Some of those are quite intense though, so just saying. Power walking. So I would say, this is what I think anyway, guys. What about you? Oh, there's even things like 10-10, butt and leg strength. Maybe that. I would say go onto the short workouts, have a little scroll through, see what you think. Put some in your favourites so you can almost like bookmark them for later. There's another one, yoga versus Pilates. I mean, the things that I wouldn't do if you're looking for something that is a little bit less intense, I probably wouldn't do HIIT, and I probably wouldn't do a combat. I probably wouldn't do aerobics. Maybe if I did a stronger, I would just go a bit lighter on the weights. But anything else, it just kind of depends on how much effort you put in. But there's a few ideas anyway. That's what I would do. If anyone's got any others, let me know. Oh, you're still watching, everybody. Hi. Sorry, back to the questions. And yeah, any exercise will boost your mood. So if you've got a low mood, please note firstly as well that you're not alone. And particularly like as we get into the winter months and the nights draw in, team, it's going to be even more important to make sure you're doing things to look after you and your mental well-being. Mental Health Day is coming up on Thursday, isn't it? You just need to be exercising. Sometimes it'll be like the last thing you want to do, but you never ever regret it. Like you'll just feel so good for doing it. Okay, meal planning and nutrition. Are you ready for the next section, everyone? How can I break down the task of weekly meal planning? I'm procrastinating. You can break it down. Like the first time you do it, or the first few times, it is going to be a little bit time consuming. You could set yourself a timer for a Sunday, and you could write down your meals. So you could have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then you could just write it down what you're going to have, and you've got to complete it within a certain time. So you can literally set a timer. And I think it would just get easier because if you're anything like me and probably the majority of the UK population, you will probably have very similar meals like every week. So the first few times you do it, it's going to be a bit tricky, but then you know what you normally buy from the supermarket and you know what you normally have for breakfast. So you won't really have to do it anymore. So, I mean, I don't weekly meal plan. I don't really need to. I just focus on trying to feed myself good food the majority of the time and have a bit of what I want as well. But I'm very consistent. Like me and Will have very similar meals throughout the week, and my breakfast is basically same Monday to Friday, and then at the weekend I'll probably have eggs because I've got a bit more time. So during the week I have porridge, and then we can have eggs, and we get the same snacks in. So that's what I do. Put some time aside, go on the nutrition area, go on the nutrition guide, put some time aside, set a timer, boom, go, off you go. What makes a good balance for packed lunch, breakfast, etc.? Right, so a good balance would be a balance of protein, fibrous carbohydrates, and healthy fats. That would be a good balance. What I would do is I would start with the protein. So I would base my meal around a protein source. So breakfast, it could be eggs, it could be Greek yogurt, it could be protein porridge. So base it around the protein source. Then you add your fibrous carbohydrates in, things like sweet potato, your whole grains, oats. So add in the fibrous carbohydrates, add in the healthy fats. It could be peanut butter, it could be butter, it could be olive oil, whatever it might be. Add in the fats, the healthy fats. Could be some avocado. I don't personally like avocado, I find it slimy, but you might, it's very good for you, don't get me wrong. I'm one of those people who go out for brunch and I'll be like, can I have the avocado and eggs without the avocado, please? Can I have the feta and avocado ciabatta without the avocado, please? I will sometimes have it, but it's not my thing. Anyway, you don't really need to know that. It's very good for you. And then you want to be making sure that you've got some vitamins in there, some minerals in there. So I'd be thinking, okay, where are my fruits and veggies? So they're the things to ask yourself. Start with the protein, enter in the fibrous carbohydrates, enter in some healthy fats somewhere, and then you want to be thinking about your vitamins, minerals. Head to the nutrition area and have a look at the portion size guide. There's the hand guide on there. You'll see what I mean. Best workout for toning and slimming down love handles. Ooh, do you know what? If I had this in a magic potion, I would be a squillionaire. But it's not a thing, and we can't choose exactly where we tone our body. So if there's any ads that say, try this vibrating machine on your body and it'll vibrate your love handles away, just avoid like the plague. It's marketing. No, you can't. It's called spot reduce. You can't fat spot reduce. You can't choose where you're going to lose the energy in your body. That's all fat is. It's excess stored energy. You can't decide where your body takes that from first. It's kind of in your genetics, really. But what you can do is you can work on the muscles in that area. So you could do things like Pilates. Pilates is a great one for your obliques. That's probably the number one thing I'd say. If you actually type love handles into on demand, Pilates love handles will come up, or anything obliques. So I'd do that. But essentially, it's going to be a combination of strength, cardio, and then making sure that you're doing some core work. And the rest of the time, it is going to be a case of, are you in a calorie deficit? You know, if your goal is to lose a bit of weight, so if your goal is fat loss, just making sure that you're manipulating your portion sizes, making sure you have enough protein so you can retain the muscle as well. That is what I would do. So toning, stimulate the muscle, make sure you're eating enough protein, and then be in the calorie deficit. Okay, muscle and strength training. This is such a good question. Last week, I attended Dr. Louise Newson's Menopause, the great debate lecture show. She mentioned muscle mass decline and showed a picture similar to this one. It's in the Facebook group, gang. Two cross sections of a leg. One older person who exercises and a younger one who doesn't. I've heard her speaking about this actually. Obviously, from the outside, the leg looks the same size, but it's what's inside that matters. This got me thinking, how do you know what your muscle to fat ratio is? And can you build muscle mass rather than just maintain what you've got left? How do you know if you're doing enough strength or resistance training to switch the fat to muscle? And is it possible to swap the fat out for muscle? How long will it take to get the legs in the strong picture? I've been pretty consistent with 3 stronger workouts a week and mindful of keeping protein high since our June challenge. In that time, I haven't changed weight, but I think I've changed my shape slightly. Is this something that takes years of consistency, or should I expect the insides of my legs to be looking more towards picture 2 already? Once you put the effort into switching to have good muscle mass, how do you ensure you retain it? Okay, there's lots of different questions in there, so I'm going to try and answer them together. This is such a really, really good point. And another reason it's a really good point is because as we age, yes, when we hit the menopause, we go through the menopause, we have a decline in estrogen, and that means that our body isn't as good as retaining or building muscle anymore. But that doesn't mean that you can't build it, and it also doesn't mean that you can't retain it. It just means that we need to work a little bit harder at doing that. That's all it means. So firstly, you absolutely can build muscle mass and you can retain it, but we're just going to have to be more conscious of it. But the reason we want to do it is, yes, it looks better. Like you would know if someone had muscle or not. Like the leg might be the same size, but there'd probably be some more like definition there. But also it's linked to your metabolism, your lean muscle mass. So your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, is linked to how much lean muscle mass you have. But even more importantly than that, it makes life easier. Like I said, no one wants to be the little old lady who can't get off the floor or who can't get out of the chair or struggles to go up the stairs. You want to be the little old lady who's lifting her grandchildren up in the air and swinging them around, don't you, right? Or running across the airport with them. I don't know why the airport, but anyway. You want to be that person. And also, if you fall or have a fall, muscle is a lot denser than fat. You are much, much less likely to break a muscle. So, not break a muscle, break a bone. You're much less likely to break a bone if your bone is surrounded by muscle as opposed to fat tissue. And the best way to sort of describe this or explain this is if you have a memory foam pillow, they're quite hard, aren't they? They're quite hard, they're quite dense. Versus if you have a really, really rubbish pillow with like 2 feathers inside. Like there's nothing there. Just imagine like a real rubbish pillow. You know, like a real lumpy, horrible one that you'd get at, I don't know, insert name, motel somewhere. That you put your head down on it and you might as well be lying on the bed. That versus memory foam. Just imagine your muscle being like that or your fat tissue. So you've got the muscular leg being the memory foam protecting your head, which you can imagine would be the bone, is going to be protected, versus the pillow that is absolutely rubbish, has got nothing in it, your head is going to hit the bed. So that's why it's so important. What you want to be doing, and if you're really, really interested in your muscle to fat ratio, the only accurate way to do it is to get a DEXA scan, but these are extremely expensive. And I would recommend it if you've got, say, like osteoporosis running in your family. I'd recommend it for that reason, or if you've gone through like an early menopause and you're a little bit concerned about your bone density, you could do that. You could also get calipers, which it sounds a bit awful, but like it squeezes your skin. It can give you a guesstimation, or you can look at photos and give you a guesstimation. But I think the most important thing here is really controlling the controllables, like doing what you can to maintain and build as much lean muscle mass as you can. Like as women, we will never, unless you try really, really hard, be like a bodybuilder woman. And especially if you're doing classes like, say, our stronger classes, it would be virtually impossible to like look like that. So we work more on muscular endurance. That's what we do with our stronger classes. So it's more, it's higher weights. No, sorry, other way around. Higher repetition, lower weights. So it's more muscular endurance. So basically muscular tone, if you like. What you need to be doing is keep the consistency with the 3 stronger workouts. That's excellent. Really, really good you're doing that. Make sure you've got a barbell as well so you can load it up. And I would be using progressive overload here. You need to be increasing the weight on the bar. So for the first time you do a new release, you probably use like your quote unquote normal weights, whatever that is for you in stronger. But make sure that you're trying to add on as the weeks go on. So I'll always talk about adding on the nugget, but follow my guidance. So I say, put your warm weight on the bar, medium sort of weight. Personally for me, I have 2 5Ks either side. If you're just getting started with stronger, you might have like 2.5, for example. Then when we move to squats, I will say round about 3 times, unless you're new, 2 times. So 3 times your warm weight, 2 to 3 times your warm weight, whatever. Just basically, it depends on the release. So just listen to my guidance. Do that. Do that. Follow my guidance. And then as the weeks go on, see if you can add little nuggets onto the end, like another kilogram either side, another 2 kilograms either side. And stay consistent with that. Other things you could do are intervals. So if you go on to our, what did we call them again? You can always like choose certain areas on demand as well. If you put in the search bar like butt and legs, strength, you could type strength in there. What were they called? What did we call it on demand? Was it strength? Strength intervals. The strength intervals, those ones are good. You could also do HIIT with weights. That's got a bit more of a cardio element to it though. But stay with that. Load the weight. The more resistance you put through your muscles, the better the results. Make sure that you're giving space in between them, so you're not doing like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday stronger workouts. Your body's not going to have a chance to repair, and the repair is where you get stronger. So making sure that you're giving your body adequate repair, and definitely keeping protein high. So take your body weight in kilograms and times it by about 1.5. So for somebody who weighed 60 kilos, you want to be having at least 90 grams of protein a day and spacing that out through your day. It's about 1.5 to 2. That's what I would be doing. And just spacing it out throughout the day. And it can take years, but it depends on how heavy you're lifting. The stronger weights, like I said, we're using lower weights, high repetition, so it's more muscular endurance. But you could even do more higher weights and lower reps. It really, really depends. But if you just keep on doing that, focus on progressive overload, getting your protein in, it will definitely, you'll be in a really, really good place. So it's great that you're doing that. It really is. So it just depends. But basically, keep consistent and keep doing what you're doing. But yeah, it is just a case of making sure that you are putting that extra bit of effort in, for sure. If that's something, it's something that everyone should be doing anyway. You could even go up to 4 times. I would probably switch out for something else though, because you might be getting a bit bored of stronger. I'd probably go to like the strength intervals, which are more like lower reps, higher weights. So maybe looking at that. Even things like booty band. I've been told that if I squat with weights, my thigh muscles will get bigger, and it's something I definitely want to avoid because I'm paranoid about my legs as it is. I just want a peach and skinny legs. Well, I think we need to think here about who has told you this absolutely useless information that's not going to help anybody ever. And the thing is, skinny legs ain't going to help us, like for all the reasons above that we've just been through. What will happen if you squat with weights is you will get incredibly toned legs that people will look at and go, whoa, I wish I had her legs. That is what will happen. So I would say, and what will happen as well is you'll be getting like lean toned legs. So quite often what happens is people are scared of doing it. They do it and then all of a sudden they get this muscular tone. They're like, okay, so my legs are actually looking slimmer, they're leaner, and they feel really confident. Like, get your legs out, girl. But that's what I would do. And if you want to build a peach, you want some nice shapely legs to go with it. So that'd be nice, strong, toned legs to go with it. Who wants to be weak? No one wants weak and skinny legs, no. But basically, don't worry, you won't. You'll be absolutely fine. You'll just get beautiful shape, which you already have already. Are you going to offer another menopause course? I mean, I have asked about this. If you guys want one, if it would be useful, let me know. And if you do, then yeah, sure. Of course I can. We did a 14-day one, which was really good. So if I get enough interest, absolutely, 100% team. Please could you say something about cramp during exercise? Ooh, okay. It depends. What exercise are you doing? And have you been fueling yourself properly? So I'd say if you're doing something like Pilates or you're doing a class where you've been pointing your toes, it can be quite common. So making sure that you're relaxing as well. So if you feel it coming on, just relax your foot, like stop pointing your toes. Are you staying adequately hydrated? Some people say like tonic can help, and bananas can help as well. So it could be a bit of like a salt imbalance. So just be making sure that you've been fueling yourself and see if you can build up any data, like when's it happening. If you're getting cramp, when was the last time you had a meal, for example, or a snack? And just see if you can build some data on yourself, see what works for you. Tips to get on back on track after illness, please. Okay, so this section is more of a like getting back on track. Getting back on track after illness, draw a line. Don't worry about what has or hasn't already happened. Hopefully you've been resting and allowing your body some time to repair. So, I think this is somebody at the door. If that's Mum, if that's you at the door, I think it might be Mum at the door. Mum, I've got 2 questions left. 2 questions, Mum. 1 sec. I think it might be. Just 2 questions. Ease yourself back in. Draw a line. Don't worry about what's already happened. And make sure that you just take your time. Take your time coming back in. Like I've said earlier, think about the intensity of the workouts, the duration of the workouts, the type of workout, and make sure that you're fueling yourself for it as well. But just draw a line. Don't worry about what's already happened or what hasn't happened. Draw a line and move on from here. That's what's important. This week, I didn't book workouts in my journal. I put a section of 5 to 6 of my favourites, and then I picked from there. It means if I wake up and I'm in too much pain from a workout or I'm feeling really tired, my diary doesn't have unfinished business. Today it has 3 workouts in all different colours. It feels better, a better win somehow, without the reminders that I miss this. Is this okay? Yeah, of course it is. Hey, if that works for you, that sounds like a good system to me. I like that. I do like that. That's great. And I'm loving all the different colours as well, because that means you're doing a variety. Good. Variety is the spice of life. All right, gang, that is all the questions. Boom. Are you impressed? Anyway, I will see you all soon. Oh, Juliet, I've seen you put #replay. I've not finished yet, but that's good. I'm glad you're watching it. Anyway, team, have a great day. I'm going to go let my mum in, and I will see you soon. I'm going to get this uploaded to everywhere for you, so you've got it. Thanks, gang. Let me know if you found it useful, and also let me know if you do want me to do menopause course. Please let me know in the comments or send me a message or an email, and I can pop one on for you. Anyway, see you, gang. Have a great one.